Hi everyone, my name is Elena Moriarty and I'm presenting today on MARC Authority Records. I wanted to start out with just a quick review of MARC. I know by now we're all pretty familiar with it, but in case anybody needed, to dip their toes in before we get into the meat of the presentation, I wanted to start with this quick review. So as we all know at this point, MARC stands for Machine Readable Cataloging Records and was developed in the 1960s by the Library of Congress. It's a set of digital formats that allow computers to read and interpret data, so that data can be converted into a form that computers can understand and vice versa. And it helps us send and decode information from different libraries and all over the world. So authority records use the standardized forms of names for people, institutions, meetings, titles, subjects, all kinds of stuff. So it provides authority control, which is defined by the Library of Congress website as establishing a recognized form for an entity name and using that form whenever the name is needed as an access point in a bibliographic record. So I've understood it as a way to make access keys work better for the user. For example, Hamlet by William Shakespeare. The author is a controlled, recognized name, William Shakespeare. Anyone searching William Shakespeare will be able to locate his works. Of course, there are other names for William Shakespeare. There might be other names for Hamlet, that sort of thing. We'll get into that a little later in this presentation. But the thing that I really want you guys to take away right now is just that these MARC Authority records use the standardized forms of names to help users find what they're looking for. So there are three parts to authority records. The first part is headings. This is, from my understanding, the most important part. The headings are the official form for a name, a keyword, a subject, a title. They act as access points on bibliographical records. So they're the term that you might use to search for a given, book or item, what have you. Using standardized names helps related information to be located simultaneously. So for an example, I've borrowed this example from the Library of Congress website. It's about the French Romantic writer George Sand. She uses a pen name in her works, and the authority record assures that all bibliographic records use her most commonly known name in its most frequently used form, so that all of her works can be efficiently retrieved together, and that there is a cross-reference in the catalog from the other names and forms not used to the one that is used, to the authority record heading, like George Sand. So that way, if a user searches for her pen name, it's cross-referenced with her official name, George Sand. So the second part, that leads me right into the second part, which is cross-references. These are useful for cases like George Sand, where she uses a pen name, so there are different names that might be used to refer all to the same person. They're used to link other names, titles, synonyms, and they take the user from a variant name or subject to the authoritative one. So that's what I was talking about, where a user might search for a different name or a synonym to the subject that they're looking for, and the cross-references allow them to find all related information. They can also take the user from one authoritative term to another if they're related. So those authority control headings, it could take you from one authoritative term to another one that are related or in the same category, that sort of thing. And in a MARC authority record, the references are traced, which I took to mean recorded, on the record for the authoritative heading. The third part of the authority record are the notes. So they are typically sources that explain why a particular heading is the authoritative heading, and they might have more notes with extra information on the standardized headings. I think so. There were a couple things that I thought were important to touch on when it comes to authority records. So, a MARC authority record doesn't make the rules for a standardized heading or subject. It's just carrying those headings for use in the cataloging system. They're based on generally accepted conventions. For example, it's generally accepted that William Shakespeare is Shakespeare's formal title. So, the authority record itself isn't making the rules there for the standardized heading. It's just using them to make it easier for users to find the information they're looking for. And because of this, they have to be updated to stay current. So as more synonyms are found, related topics get added, that sort of thing, these authority records have to constantly be updated so that they're still cross-referencing all important related information. Standardized headings keep libraries from being isolated. They keep the information access keys consistent so that finding information is more reliable. They make it so that a user who may not know the right term or the full name of an author can still find what they're looking for. There is an example in our textbook on pages 276 to 277. And it's really interesting. It's in it has to do, it uses hair dyes as an example, and it shows all these different headings and that sort of thing. If you're not sure what this actually looks like, I highly recommend going to our textbook and checking it out just to get an idea of, okay, this is what this actually would look like. So here are the resources I used, primarily the Library of Congress website and also, of course, our textbook. I know this presentation is a little bit short, and since I'm not in class, it's hard for me to field questions as they come up. But if anyone wants to talk about this more or has a specific question, feel free to email me. That's my email right there. My UNCG email is eamoriar@uncg.edu, and I would love to go over this. This was a bit of a new concept for me as well, so I really enjoy, discussing it with any of y'all if someone's interested in that. So feel free to email me if you have any questions. And that's it. Thank you so much. Have a great day.